Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
This is a public service message brought to you by the Tech Ranch. Mr. Steve Bakken and Marlo Anderson.
Okay.
Are we just a public service announcement the whole time?
Well, what is it, though? You have to serve the public in some fashion if you're making an announcement.
I see. I thought we would talk about travel technology today.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because we're traveling. Everybody's traveling right now, you know, and it's winter time, and we've had everything from... We haven't had a full-on blizzard yet this year here, I don't think. But we've had storms, and we've tried, yeah.
We didn't get the 60-mile-an-hour winds they were talking, but it tried.
Yeah, and then, of course, the annual rain at Christmas time.
Freezing rain. And
that seems to be an annual tradition.
Freezing fog.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been kind of a whole plethora of stuff. So I thought it would be interesting just to talk about the kind of things you can use, like on your phone or whatever, that can help you.
Is there an app on my phone that I can go defrost my windows real quick?
Oh, that would be good. I wonder if you could overheat if you could do something to your phone to get it really hot, and then you could put it right next to because it does get hot sometimes, you know. Have you ever had your phone get real hot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're overheating.
Doesn't end well.
No, usually it blows up, right?
Yes.
Have you had a phone like leak on you before?
No, not leak. But I had one that was like, okay, why is this getting really hot? Like run into the cell phone store and they're like, yeah, don't use that no more.
You actually had that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, don't use that no more. Okay, we'll get you a new one. Here we go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a brand new phone, and it was something.
Like when you say hot, like too hot to touch?
Touch, yeah.
Wow.
Well, and I always put my phone in a case.
Yeah.
And
which isn't the greatest for them, by the way.
No, but
I mean,
that's my wallet.
You want to protect it. So
right.
It's this kind of trade-off, you know.
And pick up the case. It's like, why is that hot?
Yeah, because those things, the phone is designed to cool itself, right? That's why you have this whole like metal surface or whatever, because it cools itself.
It's like Fonzie.
Way. It's like a heat sink. The phone itself is a heat sink, and when you cover it up, it's like Fonzie.
Like Fonzie. It's cool.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh my goodness. You know, there are bad dad jokes.
Took you a moment there, wasn't it?
There are bad dad jokes, and then there's Steve Bakken. Oh my goodness.
It's a Fonzie phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I pick it up and why is the case? Holy crap. And shut it off. It's like, let it sit. Started it up again, rebooted it. And it's like, same thing. I'm like, I didn't even have the phone 3 days. Went back in there like, yeah, there's a problem with that phone.
Yeah. So that's the last one you want to take onto a plane.
Yeah, let's go on an airplane.
Yeah. What was that model that was blown up for a while on planes? I forget, but there was
there was a phone.
And then they're still real touchy about taking lithium batteries.
Yeah, and then Boeing had their battery issues.
Yeah.
They're trying to do the battery plane thingy.
Yeah.
Speaking of travel.
Yeah.
Drone travel.
Yeah.
And did you hear about the young boy that had to have emergency heart surgery?
No.
Like this just happened. A drone performance. So a whole bunch of drones flying.
Yeah. I did kind of hear this. I didn't hear the outcome though. I heard
one went rogue.
Yeah. Well, wasn't there a couple that actually bumped into each other and then one fell out, or they fell out of the sky or something and then landed on this 7-year-old, right?
Yeah. I hit him right in the chest.
And he had to have emergency heart surgery.
Yeah.
Did it like cut him or something?
I don't know. I didn't get all the details on it, but they had to have emergency heart surgery.
I did watch somebody actually take a finger off.
And it wasn't a Tesla truck?
So stupid. This guy just was like,
well, come on now.
Bound and determined to prove to everybody that he could catch this thing in the air. I'm serious.
Ew.
Demonstrating. He's out there flying around.
How big was it? Was it a big drone or a little?
No. It was like the ones that we fly around with. But the difference is that he had carbon blades put on it.
Oh,
so
that's not bright.
And because it was a little windy outside, and that's not unusual to do that because they're a lot more firm. So they handle the wind a lot better when you're using and it was a DJI drone. I mean, it wasn't like a big drone. It's ones that you and I buy at the store, right? Well, I mean, a little nicer ones, but not the little $30 ones. These are $1,000.
Yeah, not the ones you and I can afford.
Right. Although I have a couple.
I know you do.
Well. But anyway, I had the carbon fiber blades on there, and he had been grabbing these things out of the air before, and this one was a little bit bigger, and he went to grab it, and there was a little gust of wind, and it literally took the top of his finger off.
I'm picturing a late night infomercial with drones. It's like the latest in the Rompapille vegetable slicer. You can slice, you can julienne.
And everybody before that too, everybody's screaming at him not to do this.
Don't do that.
Knock it off. Let the thing land first. What part of you showing us how to use these things? I mean, one of the first things you train people with is safety on these things.
I have to ask, when you were a child, or maybe last week, have you ever
got them both actually?
Well, box fans.
No.
Have you put your finger in there to stop it?
Many times, but
I used to do that all the time. I know people that did it with their tongue.
That couldn't have ended well.
Yeah, as long as it's going the right direction, you can stop it. But if it's a fan that can reverse, don't do that. Because if it's going the wrong direction, it will take stuff right off. Well, it's like a typical box fan only goes one direction.
Right.
Well, and it blows, so it's going the right direction. Yes. So it's tapered up, so you're not hitting the edge of the front protruding blade that will cut stuff.
I think I'd take a ruler first and just slowly put it in there first to see if it's taking that.
Well, that's usually how that proceeds. Yeah. You start with the ruler or a carrot.
Okay. Yeah.
You never did that when you were a kid.
We're so far off of
safety first, Marlo.
That's right. First rule of travel, everybody, safety.
Well, come on, it's travel.
Yeah.
Drones, future of travel.
So anyway, did the kid turn out okay?
I don't know that. It just happened.
Okay.
So I believe it was down in Florida.
Yeah, I know it was at one of the a fireworks. They do the fireworks with the drone displays now, and they do fly pretty close. So I could see if one was programmed off a little bit, or again, a gust of wind that could take one. I think one of them bumped into another and it disabled it and took it out of the sky is what happened. So they're dangerous. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And there's a reason why you don't fly these things over crowds, and you have to have, to be authorized to do these things.
Unless you're in New Jersey.
Get your certification. Yeah, unless you're in New Jersey, then it doesn't really matter at all. You can just fly whatever. So that's so crazy over there. What's going on? Nobody's going to figure it out.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
All right, so we're going to get back to travel.
What do you mean back to?
We go down so many rabbit holes on this show. It's not even funny. So, yeah.
This show brought to you by Bugs Bunny.
Pretty much, yeah. Are you familiar with HUD, heads-up displays?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love them.
Do you know that you can do that with your phone? So
cool. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I can?
Yes.
All right. I'm holding my phone now. How do I do this?
You put it up in the dash on your car.
Yeah.
And then it'll reflect into your windshield.
Oh.
I'm sure you've had stuff in your dash before, like you put some papers up there and you finally have to move them because
because they drive me nuts when I'm driving.
Think of that, but instead, it actually creates a heads-up display with your phone, so it'll display it. And there's one called Hudway, HUDWAY. You put this app on your phone, and then you open up Google Maps, and then you have that heads-up display into your windshield.
Google Maps for travel has gotten really cool because It'll show you the posted speed limits. It'll show you what your speed is. It does so many things that's all the heads-up display stuff.
But what's even more important this time of year, in my opinion, I mean, that's all cool, right? Yeah, I don't know if you really, I mean, it'd be cool
Is
to
your
have
tire
that
pressure low? Yeah.
with all that stuff,
It
right?
doesn't tell you that.
But the challenge is when you have freezing fog or the snow's blowing a little bit or whatever, and you can't see the road very well, this will actually help you stay on the road. You know, the road turns a little bit in front of you, and you've never done this, I'm sure, but, you know, a lot of people drive off the road because they can't see that it turns. So you're just driving straight ahead, and that happens. Or you miss your exit and things like that because you can't see it.
How close do you have to zoom in for that? Because I usually 5 or 10 mile setting on the Google Maps.
Yeah,
you got to like go right into it though. It's
yeah,
like
you can be like right
turn by turn driving.
Yeah. You can be right. You can have it just like, 100 yards out type of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely. It's really actually kind of cool to do.
Usually if I drive up the road, I'm doing it on purpose.
And it can be safe. I mean, a lot of people, if you know it's going to be terrible, right, you're not going to go. But, that kind of thing that blew in a few days ago.
If it's too bad, you're not supposed to go.
But you can be like that one, like I said, there was a winter weather advisory a couple of days ago. And I was stunned when I woke up in the morning. We were under a winter storm warning. Where the heck did that come from?
Well, we were supposed to have the wind, which didn't materialize.
And
we didn't get that much snow, but when you have a 60-mile-an-hour wind, you don't need a whole lot of snow to have whiteout conditions.
Right. So if you were just thinking it was a winter weather advisory with a couple inches of snow, what's the big deal here? I'm going to go trek out and that stuff. And the next thing you know, here comes something that wasn't as expected or whatever it is, right? So a heads-up display can really help you in those scenarios.
So we live in North Dakota. Do you ever think that there's a little bit of this mindset that, well, if we worry about the weather too much, we'll never get anywhere?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we kind of get this little false security that, I'll get through it. It's got to drive.
Ice is my big thing.
Ice is the big thing.
I just don't care to drive on
I like fog. Fog's like one of my favorite weather conditions.
I love the effects that it creates on your wheels.
Oh, yeah.
You drive 100 miles and you get out to put fuel on or whatever. You look at your wheel and it's got the star shape on it off the hubcap or whatever, That's really cool. I love that. And of course, back in the day when we had whip antennas on our cars, and some people still do, boy, do they whip when they get full of frost.
Did you ever drive around and go, okay, how thick can I get that?
Oh, my goodness. Yes. You could get it pretty thick.
Yeah, you could.
And you would think that the thicker it got, that the more stable it would be, but it would be the exact opposite. No. The thing would just start whipping like crazy. Yeah. It's kind of funny, the things that happen with road conditions.
No, it's kind of funny, the things that amuse us.
Well, there's that.
Just driving down the road, it's like, you're not watching the road, you're like watching your antenna.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that thing's getting thick now.
Well, you drive into the gas station, right, and you're breaking off the ice on the front of your car so that air can get through it. I've filled the whole
had to do that before
with ice too, And of course, the wheels, you'll get one side that's weighing more than the other, and the car just doesn't seem to drive quite the way it should.
Have you ever tried to take the whip antenna and that ice, if it's thick enough, try to take it off in one piece, just slide it up over the little knob on the top?
Never tried that.
Yeah, you got to sit in the garage for a few minutes.
Obviously, it's worked for you.
Yeah, I've gotten it done.
Have you ever had to use like a hair dryer or whatever to break into your car?
Yes.
Was that here in North Dakota or someplace else?
Yep. No, all North Dakota. So, well, and sometimes, okay. So most of us that live in North Dakota or northern climates will keep a tube of the lock de-icer.
Yes.
Which usually it's in our car.
Yep. Yeah. So does you a lot of good in there, right? When you can't get into it.
But to be able to get the lock de-icer into the lock, having to defrost that half a thick inch of ice when you have freezing, I've done that before. Can't get to the lock to de-ice the lock.
Right. I've seen images. I feel bad for people who live along like Lake Michigan or whatever, and here comes a wind off the lake and it's 10 degrees outside and they forget that their car is parked in a parking lot next to the lake.
I used to live on Lake Huron, And
the scenario as well.
Yes.
You come out and there would be 8 inches of ice on your car.
House was about 75, 85 yards off the lake, depending on the height of the lake. And nor'easters blow off of Lake Huron November to late December. And whole house, like a half a foot thick of ice on the whole one side of the house.
Crazy.
Saw that on multiple occasions. It just, because the wind blows and it picks up the moisture and it just, it's like little tiny snowballs.
Right. I can about imagine the locals, like
garages in the back. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank heavens.
Yep. That, you come driving into town and you're like, wow, there's nobody in that parking lot. I'm going to park over there.
Yeah.
You go have dinner, wander around, do some shopping, come back, and your car is covered in ice.
People like that, Duluth, Minnesota, people have had that issue in Duluth. If you park down, I actually know people that have been down on the waterfront around the harbor and in late fall, early January,
it gets a chance
nor'easter season, because it's the nor'easters. You got to have the wind out of the northeast. Can't get back up out of along the
lake shore. I could see that too.
The roads are all ice.
Sure, I could see that. So, all these wonderful stories we're sharing. Trying to remember the worst. I'm trying to remember if I ever had a time where I had to have a car towed someplace so it could thaw. Oh, have you ever had to do that? To get it started, get it towed into someplace warm? So you can thaw it out, or thaw it, I guess.
And we're back. Don't miss a minute of the Tech Ranch as we explore the cutting edge of tech with Marlo and Steve. For more exclusive content, visit thetechranch.com.
So we are talking about travel, maybe some of the best apps you can use for travel. Heads-up display has been what we've been kind of talking about. I love those. That's like the coolest thing in new vehicles is the heads-up display. Yeah, if you have a newer vehicle. It's not a heavy dose of technology. It really isn't. It's not really. No, it's pretty rudimentary. Yeah. But if you don't have that, or if you can't get a map up onto your windshield, especially in bad driving conditions, I would always recommend people to put a heads-up display. Just use your phone. You can slide it up on the dash. You can use there's 4 or 5 different apps that you can use with Google Maps, and it'll actually project a Google map up there, and it'll show you, the next 100 yards out for your road and that type of thing. And that way you don't drive off the road. That might work way better than back in the day when you have to unroll the window and the whole one side of your face gets covered in snow because you're trying to see the lines on the road. Yeah, that actually would have worked well. I was just thinking about, I was right before Christmas, I was at a Christmas gathering, and it was not snowing when I got there. And in fact, there was like almost no snow on the ground. And then I left 2 hours later, and it was like total, that really sticky snow that came down. Snowball snow. Oh my goodness. And it was like, and I drove out on the road, and I'm like, where is the road? Everything was white. Nobody had driven on it. And then up over the hill comes this, I'm going up a hill, and over the hill comes this person who's probably going way faster than they should have. They obviously didn't know where the road was either, because they were coming right at me. I had figured out my side of the road, but they had no clue. Next thing you know, I'm driving in the ditch to get away from this person. I didn't know where else to go. We're the only 2 people on the road. I don't think that the other person even realized that they were on my side of the road. The greatest invention ever for whiteout conditions like that, if you're foolish enough to be traveling in those conditions, which I'm guilty a lot, rumble strips. Oh, yeah. Rumble strips. Yeah, it actually worked really well. You can stick 2 wheels over on the shoulder rumble strip, and if there is a shoulder rumble strip, and it's just like, I know where I'm at, I'm good. Do you know where those came from? Where? Rumble strips? Is Rumpelstiltskin? Close. NASA. NASA? Yeah. Really? When they were landing the space shuttles back in the day,
couldn't see.
the astronauts could not see the runway, so they had to come up with a way to keep, like if they started going off the runway a little bit, so that's where the rumble strips came into play. And then somebody thought, you know what?
That's a good idea on roads.
It's a good idea on roads.
I love rumble strips.
And
I like the center one too.
it's amazing. It would be interesting to see if there would be a way to calculate the amount of lives that rumble strips have saved over the
I
years.
bet.
It's been a lot. You would think that with the amount of technology that we have in our vehicles that road deaths would continue to go down. But that has not been the case. I don't know. Well, I think our safety's gotten better, but our society has not.
Well, and that's the tipping point is, okay, more technology, so less ability.
I think there's too many distractions.
Well, you wind up.
Distracted driving is as bad now as alcohol-related accidents.
Okay, but the other side of that, though, and I won't disagree with that, but the other side of that is you had to have a better skill set to drive.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
So you were a better driver because you didn't have all this technology to rely on. So as the technology's increased, driving ability, I would make an argument, has decreased. Somebody's skill set has decreased because, my car does this for me, or my car does this. So what does that do? You're not as aware of the experience of driving
because the car does
does some of that for you.
The one thing that drives me the most crazy is following distance. How in the world can you be doing 75 miles an hour and only have one car length between the two of you?
Yeah.
I don't understand this. You get and even around here, that seems to be more and more common.
And if you leave the space, somebody will cut in.
They
there.
just cut in. I mean,
because I leave a couple car lengths. I do too.
I try to follow the rule of a car length every 10 miles, right? So because I feel it's important to have that safety for stopping. But yeah, you leave the space and it's gone. It is just gone. And
okay, technology. And my wife's car does this, and I hate it because I cannot figure out how to turn it off. But when you're on cruise control, and it will slow you down.
Yes, auto cruise. Or, yes.
On her car, there's not an option to shut that off.
You have to, it actually just slows down to the speed of the person in front of you.
And it drives me nuts because I would pass the person in front of me, but it is so gradual and you ease into slowing. It's not like you feel it. And I drive by feeling. I'm a big feel driver.
So you can have a conversation.
I feel the car. I feel the road.
You're doing 75 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Or you're having a conversation on the phone or with who's in the car or whatever.
And you come up on a car.
62.
Yeah.
Gradually slow down.
I'm like, what the?
An hour later, you're like, why is everybody still passing us?
And
you
I'm doing
realize,
62.
Yeah. Because you think in your head, you have your cruise control set to 75. Why am I not doing 75 miles an hour?
Yeah, when I get up there, I'll pass that.
Yeah.
And then you never pass the car. Yeah. And okay.
Yep.
Her car gets me all the time. And it's so smooth. It's so grind. And I'm not kidding. When I say I drive by feel, I drive by feel. I mean, I can tell you if that tire is 2 pounds lower.
Yeah.
Because I feel the road. I feel the vehicle. I mean, but that's when.
It has caught me too.
People aren't as in tune with the experience of driving as they used to be because of technology. Do
you feel that? So I mean, distracted driving. This thing of picking up a phone and answering texts and whatever on the phone.
Everything's distractive driving, though.
So even if I'm talking to you on the phone, but through my hands-free in my phone, in my car, which I love, by the way. I love being able to, I call it the world's most expensive telephone for me now. I like having conversations when I'm driving down the road because I get some things done. I don't feel like driving's a waste of time anymore.
So technically, you still have a phone booth.
Yes, that's correct. That's funny. But I have, even talking to you on occasion, missed my exit.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm so engrossed in just visiting with you that I'm 10 miles down the road before I even realize that I just drove through Fargo.
I've been on the phone with you.
And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I drove through Fargo and didn't even realize it. So you're spot on about the fact that we're not engaged in the driving.
All of Fargo, not real. Okay, that might be.
I've been deep into Minnesota before I realized that I'm in Minnesota. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good 10 minutes to get through Fargo.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just
at highway
sharing
speed
that with you. So distracted driving is interesting. We'll continue the discussion when we come back with this public service announcement.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
Hey, ChatGPT, how you doing today?
Merry as ever. How about you, my friend? Feeling the holiday spirit?
I am as well. So you have a new voice.
Oh, indeed I do. A new voice to spread even more cheer and joy to everyone. What do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting. So you're on the Tech Ranch right now with Steve Bakken and myself, Marlo Anderson. So you're on the air. Why don't you send season's greetings to everybody?
Season's greetings to all the wonderful listeners of the Tech Ranch. Wishing you all joy, warmth, and a touch of magic this holiday season. Ho, ho, ho!
Thanks, ChatGPT.
Hey, Marlo, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. For those of you who do not know, Rocky Bullwinkle reference. So.
Yes, yeah. So what do you think of that?
You've been playing with your voice.
I was just surprised that they have a Santa voice now on ChatGPT. I was trying to do something serious with it the other day, like have a conversation about some business stuff. And I actually had to tell it to stop saying ho, ho, ho all the time because...
All right.
Can you craft me a letter to send to Steve Bakken about blah, blah, blah? Ho, ho, ho. I would be happy to do that for you. Would you like to have me include some season's greetings in that?
Oh,
no, thank you, ChatGPT.
Actually, you know what the voice kind of sounded like? And it
What's
kind of
that?
creeped me out a little bit because I was thinking, gosh, it's kind of a British Santa Claus. It's like, oh, no, I figured it out. Remember the butler from The Shining?
I never watched the show.
What?
I've never. Is that the one with Jack Nicklaus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, yeah.
Jack Nicholson, yep. Jack Nicklaus in his only movie appearance. And he didn't play a golfer. That's kind of weird, actually. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
Really?
Jack Nicklaus, yeah. I've never watched it. No.
Nicholson.
I always like the golfer better.
You're thinking old St. Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Yeah.
Please tell me which Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, the actor.
The actor. Okay. With the sunglasses.
Yes. Probably one of his most iconic roles.
Yeah.
I mean, well, he's got a bunch of them, but
not a horror type of movie.
Yeah, but that's just one of the best. Because it's a psychological thriller is part of it. And the butler in it, that's who that sounded like. Kind of creeped me out a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have to go watch it. I'm guessing
at least the butler scene.
I'm guessing by today's standards, the movie doesn't even rate a PG anymore, right?
No, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be good to see. And that was one of his earlier roles too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's an old movie now.
Well, and I've actually been to the lodge where a lot of it was filmed because the two places it was filmed was Estes Park, Colorado, but the lodge scenes, Timberline Lodge up in Mount Hood in Oregon.
Okay.
And I've skied up there a lot. So,
interesting.
Yeah, this kind of a cool connection there.
So there's this, we're going all over the place today.
Travel.
Yeah. you just, this ChatGPT.
We're traveling all over the place today.
So OpenAI, who's behind the, ChatGPT. They also have Dolly too, DALL-E. If you're looking for,
I always think of the sheep that they cloned.
Yep. And Dolly. I was just on Dolly the other day. I hadn't been there for a year because I just use ChatGPT or whatever to make images now, and that has really become
the AI, not the sheep.
Yes. But ChatGPT, they had the 12 days of ChatGPT instead of 12 days of Christmas. They had brought out all these announcements. The very last one is so there's 401 now, and 401 is a reasoning large language model or AI, and it takes a little extra time, but it reasons through things. So it's really interesting. So 403, I don't know what happened to 02, but 403 mini is supposed to be coming out in January or February, and then there's just 403. I guess 403 regular is crazy expensive to run. They're going to offer it, but it will cost like $1,000 a problem to run it currently. So if you're a scientist diving into DNA, for example, that's $1,000 is probably not a lot. But for you and I to do something like that every day, of course, is not going to be practical.
So 401 is.
However, they have this test.
So 401, by the way, is Rhode Island.
No, that's the area code for that. Okay.
And the reason I know that is because Rhode Island's one of the other few states like North Dakota that has just one area code.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So 403 is Alberta, Canada. So
okay. 40 who?
403
is Alberta, Canada.
Yeah.
What do you think about Canada becoming the 51st state? By the way,
I'm sure a lot of Canadians would be really happy about that.
So if that
a lot of Puerto Ricans would be angry because they've been waiting, but
that's true. Interesting. I would say that if Canada comes into the United States, if that was actually a thing,
would they be their own states, or would North Dakota get bigger?
I don't know. Or would the provinces just become all states? So Canada as a state by itself, oh my goodness. Although how many people are in Canada?
A couple more than North Dakota.
Hey Google. How many people are in Canada? 41 million.
Yeah.
So 41 million people. New York State has what? 50s? Hey, Google. How many people live in New York State?
2020.
Okay.
About 12 million in the city.
Yes. So you're talking, but California has like 40 some million, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. I think that would
not
be
quite 40 yet, but it's getting close.
Hey, Google, what is the size of Canada as compared to the size of the United States?
On the website valleyfairdental.com, they say, the land area of Canada is 103 square miles compared to America's 794. Oh, wait. Canada, what? Larger.
That's amazing.
And nobody can spell Saskatchewan.
That's correct. Saskatchewan.
Canada's a crazy country, though, because if you ever traveled around Canada a lot, it's for us, you cross the state line and you're in a similar state. We don't think anything of it.
It doesn't seem a whole lot different.
But when you're crossing provincial lines in Canada, it's a different world.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone's different.
Interesting. I've never experienced that.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
You could make the argument that anybody who took any amount of photos at all probably paid more in the day for film and processing than you do for your whole bill right now for your cell phone smart device. So,
and certainly you just didn't take as many pictures.
So what do you find yourself taking pictures of now that you would have never taken pictures of before?
Well, first, let me tell you what I still would not do. I do not take pictures of the food I'm about to eat so that I can text it out or tweet it out to the world or X it out to the world, whatever.
So I occasionally do, not very often, but I mean, if it's something special, I do. And I'll tell you why I take pictures though, because I know you've seen me take pictures of food. Alice, however, her following that she has on Facebook is because of
Food.
and one food in particular,
Oh, I don't know.
shrimp.
Shrimp.
So she does other food things too, but when we're traveling, she's always taking pictures of her different shrimp things. And I'm always amazed when we're out in public. You know, of course, I have a lot of people that come up to me or whatever, but the people that come up to Alice are always like, hey, how was that shrimp at blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, and it's becoming more and more common all the time. So she has developed a shrimp following. So you can't say that it's not a thing. I take photos of food because I'm on Google Maps.
Yeah.
I forget what it is. I am oh my goodness.
Influencer.
Sure. But no, not in this instance, but they why is it? I can't remember it is. But anyway, when you're in a place, you take photos of inside the place and like what they have for dishes and stuff, and then you post them up. So people, when they're looking at, you know, do I choose this Mexican restaurant over this one? Those photos will help them choose when you're on like Photo Map or on Google Maps making that decision, and they give me points and stuff. There's a couple people in our community that Susie Marie, for example, she does a lot of that type of thing too. I mean, she has like, I forget how many views of her photos, like 80 million views. I have like 41 or 42 million. Not that matters to me a whole lot, although I find it funny when I post a photo and then it'll show you a chart about the engagement you have on these particular photos afterwards. You know, I have some photos that have been viewed over 1 million times.
Okay.
And it's a picture of food. So there you go. Just sharing that with you.
So maybe I'm going to have to rethink my plans for this.
I don't know. I don't think you have to rethink it at all. It's just a matter of...
You don't want the competition.
That's right. I do not want Jim Stillrum running around taking photos of food and competing with me now. But I think each person can do their own little thing. But what else in the photo space that you would have never dreamed you would be taking photos of that you do now?
Oh,
maybe?
You know, because of my... because of the way my vision has gotten to be over the years of my life, I now take photos of instructions that are too small to read on packaging, and then I just expand the image of it, and that way I can read it. You would have never done that back in the day. You would have gone out of your way to find a magnifying glass, right, or some other way to take a look.
That was exactly where I was going to go to. So I'm glad you beat me there. You know, another thing that's interesting with that, right, is that have you ever like taken a picture of a serial number? Like you have a computer you need some work on or whatever, and you need this serial number, and this is, I guess, my world with computers, but anybody would have this issue, and this wouldn't wore off a little bit, you know. Mm-hmm. You can still take the photo even though you can't see them, because you can take it into filters, and sometimes if you add a little more contrast to it or just any of the filters, all of a sudden those numbers pop off of that. So sure. That's another nice little feature with the phones we have nowadays. Have you taken any night photos at all?
Yes, and it's amazing the light filtering that is in today's average cell phone camera.
When you were using a DLR or any type of phone or any type of camera 20 years ago, did you ever try to take pictures of the night sky?
Supertalk 1270.
Welcome to December 28th on the National Day Calendar. Today, we're highlighting the creativity of filmmakers in bite-sized storytelling and indulging in sweet treats that melt in your mouth.
Do you love to start the day with a smile? Join the Celebration Nation by picking up your very own National Day Calendar. Visit our website, nationaldaycalendar.com, for our full-color printed guide to all the fun and unusual ways to celebrate every day.
Short films, though brief in duration, pack a powerful punch with their storytelling. They offer filmmakers a unique platform to explore ideas, emotions, and narratives in a concise format. National Short Film Day celebrates the artistry and innovation behind these mini masterpieces. Whether you're a filmmaker or a film enthusiast, today is a great day to explore a variety of short films from around the world and appreciate the creativity that goes into each frame.
I think it would be fun to go to a short film festival.
Absolutely. Just think how many kinds of things you could see in not so much time.
Yeah. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And they are very popular and growing all the time. So take a look around your community. Maybe there's one going on in your neighborhood. And speaking of bite-sized delights, let's turn our attention to chocolate candy. From creamy truffles to crunchy chocolate-covered nuts, these sweet confections are a favorite indulgence for many. Chocolate candy comes in endless varieties and flavors, making it a perfect treat for any occasion. On National Chocolate Candy Day, let's savor the rich, decadent taste of chocolate in all its forms.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Gee, you know what? It's a really good day. You know, our pants are already too tight for the holidays. Let's just sit down and enjoy some chocolate.
Let's go to a short film festival, grab a box of chocolate-covered peanuts. So they're called goobers, right?
Yes, they are.
Well, there we go. I think we could go for a couple boxes of goobers and short films.
Sounds good to me. I'm Alice Anderson.
I'm Marlo Anderson.
Thank you for joining us on our journey to celebrate every day.
And join us for all of our adventures on Facebook and Instagram at Destination Celebration Show. Until next time, keep celebrating.
Supertalk 1270. KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Russian President Vladimir Putin apologizing to Azerbaijan's leader, but stopping short of taking responsibility for the deadly crash of an Azerbaijan Airlines plane in Kazakhstan. Israeli troops storming one of Gaza's last hospitals Friday, forcing staff and patients out, says Gaza's health ministry. The Israeli military accusing Hamas of using the hospital for cover. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has ordered 14 correctional officers be fired after an inmate was beaten to death at a correctional facility near Syracuse. Former NYPD Chief of Department Jeffrey Madry accused of sexual misconduct. Lieutenant Katisha Ebbs accusing Madry of sexually assaulting her in exchange for $200,000 in overtime. But Madry's attorney, Lambros says
Lieutenant Ebbs had a consensual adult relationship, albeit for a short time, with Jeff.
Lambros says his client never harmed anybody. This is ABC News. A U.S. Coast Guard search has not been able to find a 51-year-old man who fell overboard on a Norwegian Epic cruise ship on Thursday. The accident happened around 3 in the afternoon after about 30 miles. They were 30 miles east of Long Island in the Bahamas. A star of stage and screen has died.
Olivia Hussey, best known as Juliet in the 1968 film adaptation of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, has died.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo.
Hussey was just 15 when she was picked for that role after the director saw her on stage in a production of The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. She earned a Golden Globe for Best New Actress for playing Juliet and went on to star in the horror film Black Christmas in 1974 and in the television series Jesus of Nazareth in 1977. Hussey was 73. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A single winner for last night's $1.22 billion Mega Millions jackpots. Tickets sold in a convenience store in California. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. For today, partly sunny, highs near 38. Mostly cloudy tonight. We'll see a low around 23. Mostly sunny, 37 on your Sunday. For Monday, slight chance of snow, highs in the mid-20s. North winds up to 25 miles per hour. Breezy and 20 Tuesday. If you're looking for a new place to live, stay, work, or play, check out Worthington, Minnesota. It's worth a look. Right now, 38 degrees.
I'm Joey Waller. Right now, NFL Saturday, late second quarter. Chargers in a 17-7 lead at New England. Justin Herbert hitting Darius Davis with a 27-yarder. Ladd McConkey with a 6-yard TD. L.A. clinches a playoff berth with a win. 4:30 Eastern. Broncos, Bengals. Eagles host the Cowboys tomorrow. Philly quarterback Jalen Hurts concussed. So Kenny Pickett starts.
It's a big opportunity. Been working hard to stay ready. Felt like I was in a good position last game with my preparation. Now having a week to practice, I'll feel even better going into the stadium. So, I'm excited. Just want to get the win.
ESPN's Jeff Passan says prized free agent pitcher Corbin Burns is joining the D-backs. 6 years, $210 million. Fenway Bowl right now. Late fourth, UConn a 27-14 lead on North Carolina in the third at the Pinstripe. Nebraska 13-2 advantage on Boston College. After battling cancer, longtime network announcer Greg Gumbel has died. Gumbel's career lasting 52 years, the last 35 at CBS. Considered an industry trailblazer for African Americans, Gumbel best known as a studio host and play-by-play voice for college basketball, especially March Madness and the NFL. Greg Gumbel was 78. Less than 2 years after being named NBA Coach of the Year, the struggling Kings fire Coach Mike Brown. This just as Sacramento was about to fly to L.A. yesterday to play the Lakers tonight. Nuggets coach Michael Malone reacting yesterday.
They had practice this morning. He does his post-game media, and he's in his car going to the airport to fly to L.A., and they call him on the phone. No class, no balls. That's what I'll say about that.
Meanwhile, in the NHL, they're in the second. Canadians a 1-0 lead at Carolina. And just 6 days after beating Rogelio Medina for the WBA Gold Cruiserweight crown, boxer Paul Bamba has died. No cause given yet.
The holidays are upon us, and you know what that means. It's a crazy, stressful time of year. That's why I want to tell you about Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, with 7 proven forms of magnesium to target every system in your body. Don't let stress and burnout ruin your holidays. Get Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers and give your body the magnesium it craves. It's the perfect gift for yourself or a loved one this holiday season. For an exclusive offer, go to bioptimizers.com/radio and use promo code radio during checkout to save 10% and transform your health. That's bioptimizers.com.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Just need some extra cash to get by? Then you need to go to GetCash.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 in minutes. No need to search through endless loan sites. GetCash.com is one of the largest lender networks. They can help anyone get up to $10,000 regardless of their credit score. Best part? The money can be in your bank account as soon as the next day. When you need fast cash help, go to GetCash.com. That's GetCash.com.
News, talk, and sports for Bismarck, Mandan. Supertalk 1270.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
So the 12 days of ChatGPT was just upon us here a few weeks ago. I know. There's some cool stuff that came out of this. So one of the things is I think this is hilarious and kind of cool at the same time. But ChatGPT, are you familiar with WhatsApp?
Yeah.
So you use WhatsApp?
Nope.
Okay. But a lot of people around the world do. 2.7 billion people use WhatsApp. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
How many people are in the world? 7 billion?
7, closing in on 8.
So we're talking about almost 1 out of 3 people use WhatsApp in the world.
How many use TikTok?
I don't know the answer to that. A lot.
Possibly
but
less soon.
Oh, yes. Possibly less soon. That'll be interesting if that gets worked out too. But ChatGPT can now take queries on WhatsApp. So if you have the WhatsApp app, then you can use ChatGPT there. But even funnier to me,
So
not that that's funny.
when you log in, how do you ask a question?
I don't know.
What's happening?
What's happening? That's funny. So there's also, for those, I don't know. People in the U.S. can also call toll-free number 1-800-CHAT-GPT to have a voice conversation with an AI assistant.
Why would you want to call a phone number to do that? And you've just got it on your phone.
That would be my question, right? So maybe in the next segment, we should ring up ChatGPT.
Okay.
Or, you know what? Let's save it for next week because I don't have. It takes a little work, not a lot of work on the board, but a little work to.
Maybe we could call 1-800-MIX-A-LOT.
Oh, that'd be great. We
Yeah.
could just have a show all about just 1-800 numbers that still exist out there.
I can call Jenny.
That are fun.
867-5309.
How many people do you think? I felt bad for the person who had that phone number at that time. There was somebody who actually had that number.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
And they probably got rid of it because it was annoying. And
of course they did.
Because they didn't have a concept of how to monetize it 30 years later.
Yeah. Nowadays, I would have hung on to that. I mean, that'd be like my restaurant or something like that. I'd be all over getting that phone number and actually call the restaurant Jenny.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
867-5309. I can hear that. I can hear the commercial.
You have all your radio commercials voiced by Forrest Gump. Jenny. Jenny, what's your special today?
And everybody knows your number. Oh, my goodness.
You remember today's show started out with travel. We must be in holiday.
Yeah, we must be.
Yeah, okay.
OpenAI just gave ChatGPT users, plus users, unlimited access to Sora, but there's a catch. So Sora is
There's always a catch.
Yeah. Sora is the text-to-video model, not text-to-image model, text-to-video. I want an image of, what would the Canadian call the Canadian goose?
Cobra chickens.
Cobra chickens.
Or weaponized pigeons.
Weaponized pigeons, that's right.
Pick one. They're both the same thing.
So if you wanted to have what this one Canadian calls Canadian goose weaponized pigeons, you could actually create weaponized pigeons flying over a Canadian landscape. You could just say that and it would then create this video of that. It's crazy, isn't it?
Lots of gooses.
Totally is going to change the way we watch videos moving forward. I mean, do you write a script in such a way that the script actually includes how you want the artificial intelligence to build the video as well now? That's interesting.
You could.
Yeah, you could. So I think it's interesting.
Well, so they've sort of been doing that in Hollywood for a long time, things that rely heavily on CGI with the green screen. And so they'll script the green screen performance because it's not an interactive role for a lot of actors. That's interesting because now it's kind of like one big green screen. It's a blank slate.
So this is the Sam Altman, who's the CEO, wrote on X, our GPUs get a little less busy during late December as people take a break from work. So we are all giving all Plus users. So if you're a Plus user on ChatGPT, meaning the $20 a month plan, unlimited Sora access via the Relax queue over the holidays. So if you're a Plus account, you can get in there and start creating some cool videos. I guess you have access to that. You can do 20 a month. I didn't even know that myself.
It's limited though.
Normally, subscribers of the $20 per month plan get 50 video generations per month. How did I not know this?
Some tech guy you are.
I'm not very good at all. People should stop tuning into this program. Oh my goodness.
Oh, they already have.
They're screaming at us right now. Are you ever going to talk about the travel apps we should have?
Maybe.
Well, let's
called a tease.
That's right. The longest tease. Well, no, not the longest tease.
2-hour tease.
Yellowstone was that.
Well, okay, yeah.
That's that.
I thought that was The Sopranos.
Well, that was a long tease. Hey, ChatGPT, how could we use you for travel?
Well, my dear friend, there are many magical ways I can assist with travel. From helping you plan your journey, finding the best routes, suggesting cozy places to stay, to even ensuring you don't forget anything important on your magical trip. Are you planning a special holiday adventure, perhaps?
Oh, I am. I'm thinking about coming to visit you in the North Pole. Tell me what kinds of things I should pack for this trip.
A visit to the North Pole is quite the adventure. You'll need to pack warmly, my friend. Think thick coats, cozy scarves, warm hats, and sturdy boots for the snowy terrain. Don't forget mittens and warm socks to keep your hands and feet toasty. And of course, a camera to capture the magical sights. Are you ready for a frosty, festive adventure?
Absolutely. So I'm in North Dakota. Is there anything else I would need other than my normal wardrobe here in the wintertime?
Visiting the North Pole won't be too different from a North Dakota winter. But here are some extra tips. Dress in warm layers, including hats, gloves, and scarves. Keep your vehicle ready with an ice scraper, snow brush, and an emergency kit. Stay aware of the weather, as snow and ice can make things tricky. But with all that, you'll be well prepared for your festive journey.
ChatGPT, you have a lot to say about this topic.
I do indeed.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
All right, ChatGPT, Steve Bakken and myself, Marlo Anderson, on the Tech Ranch here. We're still live on the Tech Ranch. Hey, we've been trying to get on the nice list for a long time. Can you give Steve and I some tips on how we can get off this naughty list and get on the nice list?
Marlo and Steve, I'm delighted you're aiming for the nice list. To get there, remember to spread kindness and joy wherever you go. A good deed here, a helping hand there, and maybe a sprinkle of holiday cheer. And don't forget, the spirit of Christmas is about being selfless and spreading love. Keep it up, and you'll find yourself on the nice list in no time.
Well, we got something to shoot for next year.
Yes, we do. That could have happened.
You got coal in your stocking again this year, didn't you?
Oh, my goodness. There was a time that was a good thing to get.
Yeah, coal was good.
Yeah. Keep the house warm for an extra day or two.
Christmas
that was a good
sweater.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still wearing your ugly Christmas sweater.
It's not ugly. Okay.
Sure.
I'll let that slide.
I was trying to come up with a nice way
See, you're working on it already for next year. Yep.
I mean, normally I would say, "Are you serious? Have you looked in the mirror lately?" But I was trying to not say that.
Yeah, see, you're going to get on that nice list.
I'm going to work on it, I guess. I tried to help Santa this year. I don't know if you've heard all of the things I went through.
No.
You did.
By the way, if you want to get on the nice list, watch Elf a lot. It's all laid out right there.
Oh, the plan is right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I Santa had a job opportunity posted on job lists across the country, right? So I applied for an elf, and
is that why you were wearing tights before Christmas?
I was trying everything. I told Santa, I mean, see, I look good as an elf.
You might have been a good elf for bad Santa.
He sent back that he wanted me to drug test. He needed testimonials from people.
You would have been a great elf for the Santa that Dan Aykroyd played in Trading Places.
Oh, yes.
You would have been his elf.
I could have been.
You could have been his elf.
Without even trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I really haven't heard anything.
By the way, is that a Christmas movie?
Santa. Oh, interesting. Die Hard is?
Because, of course, we got in this debate. It's like Die Hard is. Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
Trading Places. Quasi Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
I will have to watch that this weekend. I love Trading Places. It's a great show.
Yeah. Christmas movie.
All right.
It's all themed around
I haven't watched
Christmas.
it in 20 years, so I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't watch that over the holidays?
No. We're still in the holidays. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
you're still wearing your Christmas sweater. For
I am.
Sakes.
But great opportunity. What Christmas movie? Because I throw that in there too. So,
eggnog.
Another one. Okay, another one.
Yes.
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon as a Christmas movie.
It's over Christmas.
Just because it's over Christmas doesn't make it a Christmas movie, does it?
If there's a prominent Christmas tree in the film, it's a Christmas movie.
No matter when it appears in the film.
Well, I think so. If the film itself is around Christmas, like 2 weeks prior to a week afterwards.
All right, ChatGPT. The debate is Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie because there's Christmas trees in it?
Well, my dear friend, Lethal Weapon does indeed have Christmas trees and holiday music in it, adding a festive backdrop to the action-packed story. Some might say that qualifies it as a Christmas movie, but others might feel it's all about the spirit of the season rather than just the setting. What do you think?
We were actually wondering what you think. Is it truly, do you believe it's a Christmas movie or not?
Well, my jolly opinion is this. If it brings you joy during the holiday season, then it's Christmas.
Cop out.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, but
when did ChatGPT become a politician?
I don't know. But
oh, my goodness.
The debate always has been Die Hard.
Yeah.
But I've expanded that list. There's a lot. And I'll throw Lethal Weapon in there. Gremlins definitely is a Christmas movie.
You need to come out with Steve Bakken's list of Christmas
Trading
classics.
Places.
And it wouldn't be anything with Frosty the Snowman or anything like that.
See, now, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, not a Christmas movie. There's Christmas scene in there, but it's not a Christmas movie.
And why is that?
Because it's not the encompassing film.
I see.
It starts in September and ends in May.
But if a movie went from Christmas to Christmas and played out the entire year, but started at Christmas time and ended at Christmas time,
then it would probably be a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Because that would be the thread, the theme
kind of
running
through it.
Yeah, that's the anchor.
I see.
But Trading Places, Christmas movie.
Shaking my head. I'll watch it. And it's not even going to be a big ask.
But think about it. It's like, okay, this is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. I like that movie a lot, actually. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I have no idea what we're talking about, except we're just talking.
So when you went to grandmother's house for Christmas, did you hitch up your sleigh this year?
Did not.
No.
How about you?
No, I did. We didn't go anywhere.
No sleigh at all.
No.
I had a lot of people at our house.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you eat a lot?
Yep. Have you? Maybe we should talk about this a little bit. What do you think of my Christmas song?
I love your Christmas song.
I cannot get over how popular that song is because I just kind of did it as a Christmas card, just a little bit of a different Christmas card type of scenario.
In fact, I'm looking forward to it next year being on the Hallmark Channel for Christmas because I'm sure they'll make a movie about it. Starring Josh Duhamel, right?
I don't know what to think about this.
My wife watches that crap all the time. I'm like, oh.
We're sitting in the studio. I did that whole song in.
Really?
On the computer you're looking at right now and the microphone that you're talking into.
For those that have not heard the song is excellent.
It's you can hear it everywhere now. You can hop on Spotify or Apple Music. It's called Ice Crystal Shimmer in the Twilight. It's truly about North Dakota, probably from 20 or 30 years ago or further back, but I guess it can be today too.
Who knew you'd come up with a song about hoarfrost?
That's true. That is true.
Those really, really, really cold mornings, it's like, okay, it's not precipitate. The sunshine, there's ice crystals in the air. It's that cold.
That's where I got the motivation for the song.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really cool. I think it's cool, and I'm the one that put it out there.
I enjoy it. I like it. It's very festive.
Yeah, it is very festive. And you can dance to it. It's a good waltz.
You're listening to The Tech Ranch, where technology comes alive. Let's dive back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve. And don't forget to check out thetechranch.com for more.
Okay, Marlo, you're the guru of geek when it comes to electric cars. Because you actually went through a phase where that's all you would rent, right? For a while.
Well, because I wanted to understand the challenges of...
And then you understood the challenges and went...
I just got tired of waiting in the line all the time.
Right.
That was the biggest thing.
Because the infrastructure's not in.
No.
Okay, so I don't know if you're watching what's going on between a potential big auto merger. Honda is a small player, big picture globally when it comes to automakers, not a tier one. So Ford, GM, Honda is not in that category. A Nissan is closer to that category, but they're not the big dealers. There's talk of a merger of Nissan and Honda merging now because
Isn't Toyota in there too?
No, Toyota's one of the big three, one of the standalones. So this is Nissan and Honda, and by default, because 18% of them is tied up with Nissan, I'll throw Mitsubishi in there as well. Part of the position they're in is, and why this is being looked at as a potential merger, is because of electric vehicles. Honda's not into the electric space like they feel they should. Nissan isn't either. Ironically, though, if you remember, and it was a horrible failure when it came out, but you still see them around. Remember the Nissan Leaf?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, electric vehicle.
Yep.
They were actually ahead of their time, and when you take a look at the timeline of electric vehicles. But this merger is being pushed because they're not in the space of electric vehicles. Now, I pose to you and some of the constraints you went through with the lack of infrastructure and the cost associated with producing electric vehicles. Ford is seeing this right now because they're billions and billions and billions of dollars upside down because of electric vehicle production. Do you see electric vehicles right now as the future, a blip in kind of a pass-through in the future, or maybe it's just something we shouldn't be dealing with right now and stick with what works economically and something else is going to come along?
Probably all the above. I actually believe that as people are starting to understand the environmental challenges that come with making electric vehicles as well,
the environmental cost, for one.
Well, I just think that, I think everybody just thought that they could plug these things in.
A lithium mine is not clean.
No, and it takes a lot. I mean, it takes, before you actually see any type, and I'm just talking economics here, overall, before you start to see any economic gain, you have to be at 100,000 miles or more on that electric vehicle. Yes, it's nice when you go and you fill up at home. Yeah, I understand the convenience of this. That's why I kind of like electric cars, because it's just cool that you can go and plug it in and then just drive around again. But
I think the coolest part is when you plug it in at night and you get up in the morning and you have another brand new vehicle, because with the downloads and the upgrades,
there's always firmware upgrading.
You got a new vehicle every day.
Yeah, but even traditional combustion engines are getting more and more like that. You park it and then there's upgrades, but not like electric vehicles.
And when it hooks up to your home Wi-Fi, it gets all these downloads.
Yeah, there's some coolness to electric vehicles, but the environmental cost is, in my opinion, too much. And when you pay basically $10,000 more for an electric vehicle on average than you would for a similar kind of combustion engine vehicle. So this is where that divide is. You have to make up that $10,000 someplace. Well, if you do the math on it, even at $3 gas, I mean, it takes 100,000 miles to get to that point, right? So that part doesn't make any sense to me. And then if you start getting into, and I'm talking about the numbers that we have where you and I live in North Dakota, we're at 8.1 cents a kilowatt hour right now. It's going to go up a little bit probably, but that's where we're at. We're not California at 40 and 50 cents a kilowatt hour. When I charge my car in California, it's 50 cents or more a kilowatt hour. So for me to, drive any distance at all, it still costs me $50 or $60 to charge the car up.
So you're not seeing the savings from the quote unquote pump either.
No. I mean, the only place you really see any type of savings is if you actually are plugging in it at home, because and rightfully so. I mean, people who are investing in the infrastructure to be putting those high speed chargers and stuff in should be compensated for that. And the only way they can do that is by charging a fee over and above what the electricity costs them. So that's why it's 50, 60 cents a kilowatt hour. It's in Vegas is the same way. Unless you have a Tesla and you have free charging. There's some level 2 chargers. I found one in a casino in Vegas, hidden in the bowels of a car garage. There was 4 charging stations. I was on almost zero. I had to find one, and I'm like,
which seems to be a common theme when you would rent one of these in Vegas.
I think it's a common thing for a lot of people, and I finally found one, and it was a level 2, and I'm like, well, it's going to take 5 or 6 hours to charge it. I can go in here and work for a while and whatever. So I did, and that was okay. But it's just challenging. It's just really challenging. If you're plugging your car in at home, and you're going to get 10 or 20 miles a day, maybe 30, if you don't put any infrastructure in your house, like just a regular 110 into your car. There's a little adapter you have to get, but I mean, basically it's just, there's any additional thing. And that like from my home to here at our studio, that would work just fine. It's 2.5 miles, zip, 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 back and forth 3 or 4 times a day. That would be perfect for that, running out to the bank or whatever, but if you need to do any further than that, you need to have a high-speed charger,
And that brings up the whole, can you afford to have one of these if it's your secondary ancillary vehicle that is just that little local commuter?
Right.
A lot of people can't afford that. You bring up the environmental side of it too. And one, it's not clean energy by the time you get done producing the batteries and the rare earth elements and all the entanglements that go along with that.
The electricity still has to be made.
Right. And then the environmental side of it is, look at the environment we live in most of the year. It's winter because we live in North Dakota. And our environment is not conducive to efficiency. Because I always look at energy production and how do you get things more efficient? And the efficiency is where the consumer usually comes out ahead. We don't see that. So going back to the subsidies and the mandates of all these electric vehicles, again, I don't think we should be there yet, because things should be in the right place at the right time, and you need to go by what makes sense to you.
The Tech Ranch.
Supertalk 1270.
Previously on the Under the Hood show.
Chris, have you ever done a preemptive part replacement?
That's a fair
I heard that
question.
term in the email, the preemptive part replacement.
Without my suggestion.
No, of course
it's working
not.
good, but it's going to break sometime.
This, of course, is a man who once stated on the show he replaces his battery just every 2 years.
No,
Yeah?
once a year.
Once a year. I've done it once ever.
Oh, boy.
Join the Under the Hood guys for great automotive advice. Saturday mornings at 11 on Supertalk 1270 and supertalk1270.com.
It's the Ranch It Up Radio Show. Join me, Jeff Tigger, Earhart, Rebecca Warner, a.k.a. Beck and my crew, as we wrap 2024 with some of the hottest, most controversial, and thought-provoking news stories of the year. And it's all on this year-end episode of the Ranch It Up Radio Show. Saturday at 5 p.m. right here on Super Talk 1270.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The next greatest generation is now. By joining the North Dakota Army National Guard, you continue to live life with your goals in mind. Whether choosing to go to school or work at your chosen profession, your service in the North Dakota Army National Guard allows you to build your future your way. The North Dakota Army National Guard allows you to serve your community and your nation while enjoying life right here at home. Live here, serve here. Join the North Dakota Army National Guard today.
Hello. I'm Justin Antonovich with the Bismarck Police Department. Speeding and aggressive driving are the primary cause of most traffic incidents and play a huge factor in traffic injuries and fatalities. By speeding and driving aggressively, you are putting yourself, your passengers, and the vehicles around you in danger. Obey the speed limit. It's not a matter of if, but when it will save a life.
Supertalk 1270.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. We're thrilled to have you with us as we continue exploring living with technology alongside Marlo and Steve.
So you said it's Honda and who?
Nissan, which is Puerto Renault, I believe.
So I thought I had heard that this merger would make whoever's merging, that there's a third company in there too. They would be the number 3 largest automaker in the world.
They would be.
All right.
So Honda's really a small player in the big picture. Mitsubishi used to be, kind of went away a little bit, but they're really tied with Nissan. I think 18% of them is owned by Nissan. So wherever Nissan goes, they're going to go. But it's interesting because the precipice of this merger is because lack of investing into electric vehicles and electric technology, and they can't afford it. It's not a place that they can afford to put the research and development into, and the cost of making the vehicles and the batteries has gotten to be so ridiculously high. But that's where it comes to the question to me is, and I'm not a fan of subsidies and I'm not a fan of mandates, but with all these mandates from states like California, you're going to have to own an electric vehicle. We have to have so many of these made. Are they pricing out, one, the consumer, and B, the company that's supposed to be making these that the mandates are applied to?
Yeah, again,
you got to let the market work.
I agree. It's just as simple as that. I think they're a choice. I just think that they're a choice.
Well, there should be a choice to the consumer.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to do that. Or, hey, I'll give that a try. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Because, like, for us in North Dakota, where we live, it's not practical for most of the year to have an electric vehicle. In fact, I saw a guy with a Cybertruck the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so it had Texas plates on it. I'm like, so where are you from? They were up from Texas, and they were driving their electric Tesla truck.
Yep.
And they hated it. It's like, hey, they loved it everywhere else, but when they got up here and got into snow and ice, and it just didn't work for them.
Well, I would have to imagine that their battery life was a fraction of what they were used to.
The trip was taking them much longer than what they planned on.
Yeah, because they really have to be resourceful probably in planning their trip, because we don't have charging stations on every corner here,
and a little snow and ice, and it gets complicated with that vehicle. So
I would just, it would be interesting to do that. But I think, first of all, when I was reading this article, I was surprised that GM or Ford, Chrysler, none of those companies are they're not even I don't know if they're in the top 5 in the world, but Honda and Nissan combined to make them the number 3 car maker. GM and Ford are not above that. It's actually Volkswagen.
Yeah, Volkswagen's number, which, by the way, your little Volkswagen electric rollout, that I started seeing those commercials for the first time during football games a few weeks back.
Interesting.
And I'm like, that's kind of a cool looking, bringing the bus back, baby.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. I think that'll do pretty well. They're just really late. They're behind on that as well. I mean, they were supposed to have that out earlier this year already.
Yeah, the big automakers actually are the German conglomerations.
Yeah.
Is what they really are.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So it's funny because the first thing I thought of when I saw that bus, I was like, because for me it's all about hauling my dogs around.
Yeah.
I'm like, that'd be really cool. I wonder if I can get that in a gas engine. It's kind of like the Hummer. The Hummer's really cool. The new Hummer,
right?
And the crab walk and all this and the cool stuff it does. First thing in my mind is like, can I get that in a 6.2 liter? I'm all over that.
Yeah.
Take my money.
I don't think the VW bus is going to be a gas engine or diesel or either.
No.
I think it's strictly electric.
Well, but we had this conversation before. It has to be, because the VW bus, what it was back then, and you can't make that today because of the safety aspect of it. The safety regulations require that you can't have something that looks and shapes and functions that way anymore, because it's just not safe to be on the road. So the only way they can get around that and make the body structurally sound enough, and it is that electric configuration.
And the other thing is that they'll have enough power to go up mountains now.
True.
That was probably when I hung out with all those people who had those VW buses. They all
get out and
every
push.
One of them had stories to tell about when they were going over mountains. It was so funny that they'd have this line of vehicles behind them or whatever, but it was just part of having the VW bus. They just didn't have the power.
Part of the experience.
Yeah.
Got to feed your gerbils in the back a little bit more.
Yeah. So did you know this, then, that Sony and Honda have teamed up to make a PS5 car, like the Sony PlayStation?
PlayStation?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You drive it with the controller.
Really? Well, I can see that. I can see the controller.
Would you spend $80,000 or whatever the car cost, to have a vehicle that you can drive around with your PS5 controller?
No. I'm not a gamer, so.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm just not a gamer.
I might have to put money in the swear jar.
Really?
I just said just asking.
No.
Or is it just saying?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
You're lucky. But I'm not a gamer. I did have Pong back in the day.
I was just curious, though, if the car actually has a steering wheel in it, or if you actually get in the front seat of the car with your PS5 controller and drive it that way.
You know what movie that's from?
James Bond.
No.
Oh.
Men in Black.
Well, okay. Bond had one too.
Yeah, but the little PS5 controller. That's Men in Black.
Okay.
I think it was the second one.
Was it actually a PS5 controller?
Yeah.
Men in Black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Little video game. Boom. Done.
Yeah.
Because remember in the first movie,
I think was actually part of his smart device.
In the first movie, Will Smith's character, Agent J, couldn't drive because Agent K always had to drive. And then when they brought back Agent K after he was neuralized,
right,
he couldn't drive because what's this? It was a little video game controller.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where that came from.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
But that comes back to the argument all the time. It's like, which comes first?
Yes.
The sci-fi movie or the product that's in the sci-fi movie, and which precipitates which?
I do believe, get back to electric cars though. Money is what capitalism will be where these things go. And sales are stale with the electric vehicles.
There's no market demand.
There's just all kinds of challenges with them right now. And like you said, the big automakers in the United States are upside down in the manufacture of these things. They're not.
Because they were forced to be upside down.
They're going to push back because if they can't make money on these things, then why would they want to make them in the first place? I mean, that's just truly where it's all going to go to. And
or you're going to price them outside of the consumer's realm of being able to purchase something.
That's what's going to happen. So yeah, it's an interesting scenario that's playing out.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
Supertalk 1270.
This is Outdoor Issues with Neil Roberts and North Dakota Game and Fish outreach biologist Greg Gullickson.
Still a couple weeks left for some pheasant hunting and for the deer bow season, Greg, and a few others you want to mention.
That's right. We still have some waterfowl seasons that are opened, and one that's really overlooked is tree squirrels. And I know I'm probably mentioning this to a lot of people that have never tried tree squirrel hunting, but that one runs all the way through February 28th. So we do have a lot of great hunting opportunities. I still haven't filled my archery tag. I came up a little short on the deer gun tag and on my muzzleloader tag, so I'm looking to put some venison in the freezer. And as temperatures dip and we get a little bit more snow on the landscape, for myself, it actually makes that archery hunting a little bit easier to find that trail, to find the places that they're bedding and going to feed, and just finding that intercept point goes a long ways. So the pheasant season, archery deer, fall turkey, sharp-tail, rough grouse, partridge, those run all the way through January 5th. So still a lot of great opportunities out there. I'm not one to rush the season, and my ice rods are ready to go, but we'll talk about that later.
All right, and that's what we'll do. We'll talk about ice fishing when we come back.
Hey poker players, get ready for a big payout tournament. It's the North Dakota Texas Hold'em Championship, an estimated $20,000 first prize. It all takes place at the Sleep Inn and Suites in Minot, starting December 26th with a free roll. Sponsored by X Golf and the Blue Rider. Qualifying rounds are on December 27th and 28th, with the championship on December 29th. A $100 registration gets you a 20,000 chip starting stat. It's the North Dakota Texas Hold'em Championship at the Sleep Inn and Suites in Minot. Don't miss it. Gaming sponsored by the Aggie Foundation. Hey dads-to-be, searching for the perfect holiday gift? Give her something unforgettable, a chance to bond with your baby before they arrive. Show her how much you care with a New Beginnings Imaging Ultrasound gift certificate. With this holiday special, you save $5 for every $100 spent. This offer will be valid through December 31st, 2024. Visit newbeginningsimaging.com and use the contact page, or text or call 701-581-3554 to purchase directly. That's New Beginnings Imaging.
Talking ice fishing now, Greg, and a lot of houses going out as we speak. Give us an update.
That's one thing is, just make sure you're on safe ice. Test the ice if you're going out, especially early in the season. And we do have a program called Take Someone New Ice Fishing. Log on to the Game Fish Department website. And for a lot of people, ice fishing is intimidating. You have to make that hole in the ice. People think they need a lot of equipment, but it can be really simple. Same thing with hunting. Invite someone new.
All right. Good stuff, Greg. And hey, that will put a wrap on this report. If you missed one, catch us on the website, outdoorissues.com. Until next time, I'm Neil Roberts.
You've been listening to Outdoor Issues, brought to you in part by the North Dakota State Texas Hold'em Championship, by New Beginnings Ultrasound, and by Minot's best new burger, Rocky's Burgers, Franks, and Fries.
There are thousands of songs about travel, from John Denver's Leaving on a Jet Plane to Gladys Knight's Midnight Train to Georgia. But one of the world's most famous tunes is not an on-the-road song, but it was inspired by its composer being on the road, or actually on a train. From America's #1 travel radio show, this is your Arm World Travel Minute. I'm Rudy Maxa. I'm talking about George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, the song United Airlines has been using in ads since the 1980s. Gershwin didn't write that piece for United. He wrote it for an event in 1924 honoring Abraham Lincoln's birthday. 5 weeks before the event, Gershwin came across a story in the New York Herald Tribune saying he was preparing a jazz concerto for the event. That was news to him. He was focused on the opening in 5 weeks of a musical he'd written, and he was feeling swamped. But while on a train between New York and New Haven to attend rehearsals of his musical, Gershwin said he saw the complete construction, on paper even, of Rhapsody thanks to, and I quote him, the train's steely rhythms, its rattly bang. Boom, Rhapsody was born. Feel free to use this to win a bar bet someday. You'll find more travel info at armworldtravel.com.
Imagine only charging your phone once a month. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be.
So you're not to me, the ritual when I go to bed every night is my watch comes off my wrist, goes on the charger, and I plug in my cell phone.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people have the wireless ones. I haven't been a fan of, I use the wireless for my watch. I don't have a wireless charger on my bedstand for my phone. I don't know why that is actually, but
I used to, but I gave it up.
I think I did too, actually.
It just, I would find that there were times that it wasn't charged. And it was like,
you know what? You're right. Because if it's not setting on there just right, then it won't charge properly. You're right. And that, at least with the plug-in, you can see on there that it's charging and ready to go. So I think that's probably why I didn't do it too. So I know a lot of people do that. But anyway, that ability to charge your phone once a month, and maybe the watch that I'm wearing, maybe this is a once every 3 month type of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
That would be absolutely incredible. And it changes everything. So I think it's really interesting that these things are coming out. And the other thing is if you're okay, maybe there's a nice, type of scenario here where the battery size, like in your phone, is only 1/4 the size that's required right now.
Sure.
Okay. So maybe you only charge it once a week instead of once a month. They'll probably figure out what's that great point, because with less battery in your phone, because the battery is probably one of the most significant things in your phone. Mm-hmm. So what's possible in your phone that they can't do now because they can't fit it in there, right? I think this really expands the possibilities. And the same might be true as I'm thinking about electric cars. If the battery doesn't weigh as much and you get but it's the same power, right? So if it's 1/10 the size, but it has the same storage of the battery that's in there now, you will still go further because the weight of the battery is so significant in these cars. So it's really interesting, I think.
Yeah. Have you noticed any kind of data on what the recharge time is for these batteries? Because to me, that's the bigger issue.
Yes. So great question. And my guess is that it's probably going to be a little longer, but because you're putting more energy into them. But it might be, and I'm looking here right now, I guess, and I'm not seeing that. I'm just reading through this thing real quick. But like high capacitors can hold energy as well, and they've been working on using high capacitors for battery storage as well. And those things, if you have a high cap in your phone, for example, it charges in like 15 seconds. But it also doesn't hold a charge as long, so you can charge it up quickly, but it also doesn't hold the charge as long. So I'm sure there's some give and take, but my phone right now, if I plug it in at night, I woke up this morning and at 2:00 or whatever, and I looked at my phone real quick, like the idiot that I am, And because you should never really do that, because then I get, answering emails and everything else at 2:00 in the morning. It's a really stupid thing to do. But it was already 100% charged.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if it charged in a 6 to 8 hour cycle, just sleeping overnight, and then you got, a week's worth of use out of it, I would be okay with that.
Yep. As long as you can plan for it.
Yes.
Because to me, that's the biggest detriment to an EV right now for myself is I can go to the gas station with my truck and be full in 5 minutes, but I don't necessarily have the time to charge the EV that I'm going to be driving.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't?
I haven't told you my story about sitting in LA overnight trying to get my car charged. So yeah, it actually happened to me. So it's the charging scenario on cars is significant because we don't have the infrastructure in many places for it yet, including the places that should.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union studio.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. An apology today from Russia's president over the crash of an Azerbaijani Airlines jet in Kazakhstan. ABC's Ines de la Catera at the foreign desk.
The Kremlin press service now saying Russian President Vladimir Putin has apologized to the president of Azerbaijan for the fact that the tragic incident occurred in Russian airspace. But Putin stopping short of explicitly saying Russia was responsible for the crash.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warning Congress that extraordinary measures are needed as the U.S. could hit its debt limit by mid-January. Yellen asking Congress to either raise or suspend the debt limit. Reports today accusing the Israeli military of forcing patients and staff to evacuate a hospital in northern Gaza. The IDF said it's carrying out an operation in the area of the hospital, calling it a Hamas terror stronghold. Boston officials say crime is at its lowest point in decades in the city. New crime statistics out today show gun incidents were at their lowest since 2011. Homicides the lowest since the 1950s. This is ABC News. There's late word that a tornado has destroyed multiple homes near Hillcrest, Texas. In Florida, 3 firefighters and 12 train passengers hospitalized with minor injuries after a Brightline train collided with a Delray Beach fire truck today. If you're traveling this weekend, you will not be alone.
Sunday is going to be one of the busiest days with 54 million passengers expected to fly. Now, according to Hopper, 32.5 million seats are scheduled between December 23rd and New Year's Day, which is the busiest on record, and that's a 2.4% increase compared to last year.
New numbers reveal the deadly impact of firearms on America's youth. Beginning 2019, firearms surpassed car crashes as the top cause of death for children and teens, according to a study published in JAMA covering 2011 through 2021. Firearm-related deaths increased by 76% during the period, with homicides accounting for nearly 60% of those deaths. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. For today, partly sunny, highs near 38. Mostly cloudy tonight. We'll see a low around 23. Mostly sunny, 37 on your Sunday. For Monday, slight chance of snow, highs in the mid-20s. North winds up to 25 miles per hour. Breezy and 20 Tuesday. If you're looking for a new place to live, stay, work, or play, check out Worthington, Minnesota. It's worth a look.
Currently 42 degrees.
From ABC Sports,
I'm Joey Waller. Right now, NFL Saturday late fourth, Chargers rolling at New England 30-7. Justin Herbert, 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Ladd McConkey, the latest a 40-yarder. LA clinches a playoff berth with a win, 4:30 Eastern. Broncos, Bengals. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa downgraded today, now doubtful for tomorrow at Cleveland. Eagles host the Cowboys tomorrow. Philly quarterback Jalen Hurts concussed. Kenny Pickett starts for Coach Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, I think he's had a nice week of practice. He's done a nice job, and we've had some good practices and walkthroughs this week.
Elsewhere, ESPN's Jeff Passan says prize free agent pitcher Corbin Burns is joining the Diamondbacks. 6 years, $210 million. Fourth quarter at the Pinstripe Bowl. It's Nebraska leading Boston College 20-15. The Eagles with 13 straight points to make it closer. Third quarter, New Mexico Bowl, TCU out 17-zip on Louisiana. At the Fenway Bowl earlier, UConn beats North Carolina 27-14. And the Huskies today give Coach Jim Mora a 2-year extension worth $2.5 million per. College basketball second half, Memphis leads Ole Miss 38-36. Just 6 days after beating Rogelio Medina for the WBA Gold Cruiserweight crown, boxer Paul Bamba has died at age 35. No cause of death revealed. Less than 2 years after being named NBA Coach of the Year, the struggling Kings fire Coach Mike Brown. This, as Sacramento was about to fly to L.A. yesterday to play the Lakers tonight. Warriors coach Steve Kerr reacting.
When you think about where that franchise was before Mike got there, where they've been the last couple of years, the job that he and his staff have done, it's just really shocking.
The world's top-ranked golfer Scottie Scheffler out 3 to 4 weeks with a punctured right hand. NHL, third period. Canadiens rolling 3-0 at Carolina.
The holidays are upon us, and you know what that means. It's a crazy, stressful time of year. That's why I want to tell you about Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, with 7 proven forms of magnesium to target every system in your body. Don't let stress and burnout ruin your holidays. Get Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers and give your body the magnesium it craves. It's the perfect gift for yourself or a loved one this holiday season. For an exclusive offer, go to bioptimizers.com/radio and use promo code radio during checkout to save 10% and transform your health. That's bioptimizers.com.
Offer not valid in all states where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Just need some extra cash to get by? Then you need to go to GetCash.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 in minutes. No need to search through endless loan sites. GetCash.com is one of the largest lender networks. They can help anyone get up to $10,000 regardless of their credit score. Best part? The money can be in your bank account as soon as the next day. When you need fast cash help, go to GetCash.com. That's GetCash.com.
Don't miss a minute of the Sean Hannity Show.
I know that there is a segment of society that would love a perpetual shutdown, and I guess we can live in a bubble, but who's going to build the bubble if everybody shuts down?
Weekday afternoons starting at 2 on Super Talk 1270.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
Were we tasking you to do?
I'm here to introduce the hour and spread some holiday cheer. Let's dive into the Tech Ranch fun.
Let's do that, Santa. So tell us a little bit about how do you use electric vehicles in the North Pole?
Indeed we do. At the North Pole, we love using electric vehicles to zip around efficiently and keep everything jolly green.
Interesting. So you don't have any problem with battery life and that type of thing since it's so cold there?
Well, we use a bit of North Pole magic to keep those batteries warm and running smoothly. No problems at all.
That's good to know, Santa. And the other thing, what is your favorite cookie?
I do love a good classic chocolate chip cookie, freshly baked, of course.
And are you getting some rest after the big night?
Absolutely. It's vacation time at Santa's Village South. Resting up,
and enjoying the warm weather.
All right. Thanks, Santa. Steve and I say adios and enjoy your vacation, okay?
Thank you. Enjoy your time and have a magical day.
Okay, do you know what one day Santa gets off? He gets one day off a year.
He does.
Yeah.
What is that?
Boxing Day.
Oh, okay. Why? That would be the 26th of December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boxing Day.
Why does he get Boxing Day off?
I don't know, because that's what they said that he gets off during Red One, because I watched that over the holidays.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah.
They actually mentioned Boxing Day and
They
Red
mentioned
One.
Boxing Day, yeah.
You know,
The Rock was like, well, I get one day off a year. What day? Boxing Day. Okay.
you know, it's not, everybody gets that confused here in this country, though. It's not boxing like in Put Up Your Dukes.
It's to box up all the crap you got to return to the store.
That is correct, oh wise.
Isn't that a Canadian one? Isn't that a Canadian holiday?
It actually is a Canadian holiday that has been becoming more and more international every year. Yeah.
So now it has a different connotation because instead of boxing things up and bringing them back to the store, you box them up and ship them back to Amazon.
That is probably true. Although a few people still take things back to the store. And doesn't Amazon have places that you can take their returns to?
Would it be easier if they just brought them right back to the ugly box store?
Probably. I think doesn't TJ Maxx, for example, they have drop-offs for returns.
Do they really?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is smart for...
Scan your barcode in and...
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, there's got to be more to it than that.
It's pretty easy. I've watched people do that before.
Okay, but if you're just scanning the barcode, and not having to have the receipt and because the gift receipt and all that to make a return, then what's to prevent people from being porch pirates and just stealing a bunch of crap and going and scanning it at TJ Maxx?
Well, I would have to think that the people who, if you're sending them back for credit, for example, the people who paid for it would.
Well, yeah, but if you're exchanging a gift or returning a gift that somebody sent you, it's your gift. So in
I don't know.
theory, they would be crediting you.
I'm not sure. I don't know how that
That's the purpose of gift receipts.
Yeah. I don't know I know that if you get something from Amazon and it's not the right size or doesn't work or whatever, that you can just take it to some of these store locations and return it. I don't know about a gifting scenario, though. I'm sure they have something. People are screaming at us right now. They're like, you idiots. Of course they have something.
Of course they do.
You just don't buy enough on Amazon.
No,
that's true.
Try to shop local.
That's what I do as well. And when I return something there, I usually don't have a problem at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if they just want to exchange it, which I'm usually good with. I like to exchange stuff and keep my money here. 18 cents a year that I spend on things other than coffee.
Well, coffee, yeah.
Coffee shops love me here.
They do.
They all know me by name. Like every one of them.
And they all know what you order.
That is crazy. I spend way too much time in coffee shops, I think. But it's fun. I like it.
So do you find that there's dangers when you're hopping on the free Wi-Fi at coffee shops?
Generally, it's a great question to ask, by the way, and something that we need to talk about. So yes, there are dangers lurking when you go and use free Wi-Fi. Did you know this?
I knew there's dangers, but I don't use free Wi-Fi very often.
You just use your mobile hotspot. Yeah. That's a really good practice, but a lot of people, and I'm one of them, I still like to maybe not use, I know we have unlimited data, but it does get throttled back if you get to like 50 gigs a month or something. So I kind of pay attention to that a little bit. You just have to make sure that you're logging on to the actual Wi-Fi that the coffee shop provides, first of all, because there's a lot of ways, and this is really prevalent, maybe not so much around here, but like in Vegas. I've run into this all the time in Vegas. You'll stay at a hotel, right? And I'll just say the Marriott. You say you're staying at the Marriott, and it'll be, guest access for the Marriott is you go through and look at the Wi-Fi. You're like, oh, here's Marriott right here. Click on that, and away you go, right?
And their security isn't the best either because they don't change the password.
A lot of times
daily.
they don't. But you don't really
Marriott 2024. Okay.
Yeah. You don't think about it too much, and then you find out later on that you were on somebody else's device that was basically had put up a Wi-Fi hotspot, right there. There's a lot of devices out there that you can just plop down, and then they record everything that goes through them. So
that's scary.
If you're, and I just pick on Vegas because
if you're making online purchases.
Well, yeah, there's that too, but it's interesting when I was at an event 3 or 4 years ago, and this young man was talking to me, and I was hopping on the internet, and he goes, "You're not hopping on the Wi-Fi here, are you?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm using my own stuff." And he's like, "Well, let me show you something here." And it was amazing, just amazing how many hundreds of people were logging in. He had a computer hooked up that he could actually monitor the connections that were coming in to the Wi-Fi there. And he goes, and that's not it. I'm actually able to see if they're logging into their banks, which of course many of them were. You're in Las Vegas.
Okay, why was he doing that?
He was just showing me that it's possible to do this. And he's like, I'm not a geek. I just knew about this piece of software that somebody told me about, and I installed it here. And look at this. He was just stunned himself that it was that easy to do and to start stealing bank card information or whatever. Because what are people doing in Vegas? They're checking their bank balances so they can go out again tonight.
More to gamble.
What's going on?
And we're back with the Tech Ranch. Get ready for more amazing tech insights from the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
Welcome back, everybody. Steve and I are talking about Wi-Fi, like free public Wi-Fi, like when you go to coffee shops and hotels or whatever, and the dangers of it. And the biggest danger is what's called spoofing. So spoofing means that if you're in a coffee shop and the name of it is Bob's Coffee Shop, and you're looking for the Wi-Fi connection that says Bob's Coffee Shop, well, somebody around the area has created a spoof account, also called Bob's Coffee Shop. So you don't know any better. You're just in town for the day or whatever, and you're just looking for a cup of coffee and to get some Wi-Fi so that you can do some work or whatever. So you just wander down and you're like, oh, here's Bob's right here. You click on it. You don't realize that it's a spoof account, and the person that's on the other side of that is now recording everything that you're typing into it. So you have to be really, really careful about these type of things. And if you have like a VPN attached to your computer, for example, that is one layer of protection that I would highly recommend to people, because everything that leaves your computer then is encrypted. So it doesn't matter if somebody's spoofing you or not, but not many people are running VPNs on their computers. I mean, a lot of people do, but there's just as many that don't.
Well, it's
and you've had some experience with this.
Well, it's some people that are dealing with the firewall on the front side, and they don't want to do that because people are inherently lazy and don't want, that extra 30 seconds to make sure that my VPN or whatever extra layer of protection you have is up. People get lazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, I'm in a hurry. I get my coffee. I want to do a little bit of work. I just boom, 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 boom. And 30 seconds can cost you a lot.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. So you want to make sure if you're using, public Wi-Fi in these places, that you're actually connecting to the place's Wi-Fi. And nothing's more evident when you're in tourist attraction areas, and I'll pick on Vegas all the time. I'm amazed, like when I stay at a hotel in Vegas, how many connections that they'll have in a hotel. And I know that is not the case. But there are people that are sitting, they have an apartment across the way or whatever, and they can beam a signal into the hotel. And, maybe it might only be 3 or 4 floors that can get it, from floors 6 to 8 or whatever on one side of the building, but it's enough. I mean, there's a lot of people that stay there and they'll just hop on and send a couple emails or whatever. And now you've given people access to that information.
There's a hole in a lot of people's security at home too. And Christmas Eve, I dealt with this. We were trying to turn on What were we watching? Home Alone, the original Home Alone. We tried watching it and rewound it, started from the beginning. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Wasn't at the beginning anymore because I'm cooking. And so I went back to the beginning of the buffer and, a little bit later, it's not at the beginning anymore. Hops on again, back it up. I'm like, this time I caught the message that was up on the screen because I was actually in the room when it happened. And it was so and such's iPhone is attempting to connect with his TV.
Interesting.
Well, what she was doing, it turned out it was the neighbor. Their daughter was home for Christmas, and she was trying to connect her iPhone to their TV.
And of course, there's a list that comes up.
But it was my TV she was trying to access. And for a lot of people, that's kind of a back door because that tells me that my Wi-Fi is out there. It's a strong enough signal to get out of my house a fair distance. Because you see this all the time, too. It's like I'll have my neighbor's printer come up and my neighbor's TV. And as we've gotten more and more connected, all these different devices, it's like I probably have about a 4 house radius that I can pick up neighbors' devices as I'm going through my connectivity. I'm like, ooh.
Well,
so that means they're seeing that on the other end. But while she wasn't able to connect with my TV,
because she needed your okay.
She needed my okay. Still, she was able to reset the program that was running. So that tells me that there's some hole, if somebody was very savvy, could probably manipulate.
So I think, it's called AirPlay. I'm like drawing a blank there for a second. So your experience was Apple has its own thing called AirPlay.
Right.
So if your TV is AirPlay capable as well, they weren't actually accessing your TV through Wi-Fi. They were accessing it through AirPlay. So totally different. I mean, it's not unsimilar. It's just that AirPlay has its own frequency and it has its own programming that searches out. So you don't have to actually connect to Wi-Fi. You don't have to go through that connection process. You can just say, oh, there's a TV right there. I can beam my stuff right to it and not have to go through Wi-Fi to do that.
So that's, what's that called? Casting, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Yep. So you can do that with, Android has the same feature on it as well. It's called screen mirror or whatever it is. So so there's other frequencies that even makes it even more fun, doesn't it?
It does. Now
I'm complicated.
Now I'm starting to think it's like, crap, I should probably go and hook all my Wi-Fi in my house.
And it's interesting. I've never really thought about this before now, but if somebody connected to your computer or your TV via AirPlay,
which is connected to my Wi-Fi,
there might be kind of a backdoor way to access. I would have to imagine there are some security protocols involved, but it all depends on how the security that you have on your television as well. Because basically the only thing that
security
they can do,
for their TV.
Who thought of security for baby monitors? Nobody.
Nobody.
Wide open. Everybody set up their baby monitors, and the first screens, like oh my goodness. This is a serious lack of sleep.
You need more coffee.
I'm on my second cup already.
You should be on your third.
Oh my goodness. The holiday has been good, hasn't it?
This Marlo senior moment brought to you by Yarbo.
Cameras, security cameras. We put them up everywhere, right? Well, the first ones that were put up, everybody just put them up and left the password 1, 2, 3, 4 because that's what came out in the box.
Right.
There was nothing that, nowadays when you get security cameras, they usually come with a random security attached to it. So they've pre-programmed them at the factory. It's not just 1, 2, 3, 4.
You have to log in, register.
All of that, right?
Yes.
But there was a time that all it was this, and there are websites dedicated that if you have a particular brand, for example, these are the places in North Dakota that actually have, if you just go to this URL and you can watch what's going on in their house.
Oh, that's crazy.
And
well, Ring doorbell cameras were the same way.
30,000 applications of that going on right now in North Dakota.
Yeah, Ring doorbell cams were the same way when they first came out. But I think what we found out was the company was kind of banking on that.
They probably were. Yeah, interesting, actually. So, yeah, I mean, there's all these security things that can happen with Wi-Fi. You just need to be careful when you're out there.
You've returned to the Tech Ranch, where technology is our passion. Let's jump back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve.
So CES is in a few weeks.
Were you excited?
I'm actually very excited this year. I have a lot of... I am the busiest I've ever been at CES. And
Did you get the big robot camera crew guy?
I didn't get the camera crew guy, but what was the name of the company that we had talked to? I got Temu in my head now, and that's not it, of course.
No.
But it's similar to that.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and look that up.
Anyway, I got an invite from them to go to see their booth. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to go check them out.
He wanted to get you a robot.
And yes, so I'll work on that. And Yarbo also sent me an invite.
Yay!
So I will have a conversation with them, and we'll talk about how we can get you.
Have you seen the new snowblower?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh.
It's so awesome.
Get it done.
That is so awesome. It has a blade and a blower on it now. So,
yes,
if it's a couple inches
and a full snow blower, and it shoots snow.
Shoots snow, and fully autonomous. It knows when it's snowing outside, so it'll go out and do your driveway and your sidewalks, and you don't have to go out and do it yourself.
Knows when you were sleeping.
Knows
when you're awake.
I want you to think about this. I mean, we're on the cusp of all of this right now, right? 10 years from now, when we're doing this program, what are we going to be talking about? That damn robot didn't get the clothes folded again. I mean, what are we going to do about that? And, that recipe that...
Damn you, Rosie.
Yeah, that has been cooking for my chicken whatever that I'm having. It's just not right. I've been having a hard time programming that in so that he gets it just right. So I just have a feeling that these are going to be the things we're going to be talking about. The Yarbo, it missed again. My goodness, I got up this morning and only half the driveway was
There's 4 blades of grass it missed.
Can you imagine these conversations we're going to be having on this show? Because right now, they're talking about like by 2030 that there will be 1 robot for every 3 humans on the planet. That's 5 years from now. Stop looking at me that way.
That's crazy.
Now, that many robots, it's about factories and everything else too, and that's where a lot of robots are going to go. But there's going to be a lot of robots.
Yeah, and well, that was just it. It's define robot. Because a lot of people think, so pick a Will Smith movie, robot. It's like, nope. We're talking your Zumba.
Yeah.
Yours.
My Astro running around out here. The
robot.
Yeah, right. A Roomba's a robot.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct.
That is a robot.
So you have to think in that term. Zumba. But there's no doubt that humanoid robots will be out and about. And, do you need to even have, this is the debate now, right? Do you have to have self-driving cars?
Oh.
If your robot
can do it.
I'm just asking.
I'm thinking.
I keep looking at my swear jar that's just saying, yeah.
Do we need to add to it?
I have a just asking swear jar over there now.
So I'm thinking security. I want my own Alita Battle Angel.
But if you task, okay. If you task your robot to drive, that's one less thing they can be doing at the house, right? So maybe you don't want your robot to be driving you around. Although I have a feeling that there will be a few people that will have the chauffeur's hat.
Okay.
And call the robot. What would you call your chauffeur?
I'm a Jeeves fan.
All right.
Yeah, I like Jeeves.
Jeeves.
Okay, go another step though.
Okay.
What if your robot, because I want one of these, became the vehicle of which so we all had Autobots.
So it would just transform into,
oh
my goodness.
You had a transforming robot that the robot would do what needed to be done. Okay, it's mowing the lawn right now. Okay, now it's doing this. It's doing your dishes. It's folding laundry. Hey, I got to run to the store. Well, that store can be delivered for you. No, I want to go to the store this time. So, okay, and the transformer transforms into the vehicle, which you go to the store.
There actually has been, or is, it'll be interesting to see if there's some at CES this year.
Ooh.
There are companies that have been working on transformer models for vehicles.
Really?
And basically, it's a space thing.
Right. Okay.
You go into a garage and it gets smaller.
Well, like your fold up little electric.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Like your little
They were doing that on Red One because The Rock had this really cool thing.
I obviously have to watch this movie.
Well, it's funny. It's like throw a little transportation. You throw a little Matchbox car down and zap it. And transforms its reality to it's a full-size working vehicle.
Yeah, we're not talking quite that, but we are talking about the car getting smaller. And you think about
so the car folds up basically.
Yeah,
it's like,
and you think about parking. Let's
your
say,
quarter panels can move in as the axle shrinks, and it gets
put on a conveyor belt and gets moved over here. And when you leave the stadium after a concert or a football game or something, because cars take a lot of space.
They do.
There's no doubt about it.
Parking lots are the biggest waste of space ever.
They are. So if you can figure out a way to get those so that they are smaller and easier to stack, to park or whatever, they would be all over this.
So your car shrinks into a little cube.
Wouldn't be quite that small, I don't think. But even if you got it to half the size, right?
Or even a big cube.
Yeah.
Just kind of shrinks down.
I think a cube type of thing would be interesting.
Yeah, because they're stackable then.
Right. Exactly.
Put them on the shelf.
So, yeah, it's been worked on by them.
Okay, so then if they were all in cubes,
from now?
But if they were all in cubes, you could just go to a vending machine and, I want to drive that today.
That's
Comes
a fun
out,
idea.
Then it expands.
Yeah, that's a fun idea.
A vending machine for vehicles.
Well, they have them now.
Carvana does not count.
Has anybody ever bought one car out of a Carvana? I'm guessing somebody has.
Yeah, they have to.
They're fun to look at when you drive by them.
Yeah, they have Super Bowl commercials, so they got to be making money.
They claim that there are people that claim that they're not. So that's interesting. So yeah, I mean, the future holds a lot of amazing things. I think humanoid robots are just going to change who we are.
Okay, from a functionality perspective, who's pushing the humanoid robot? Humans, because that's what we're familiar with.
We're familiar with that.
We're familiar with that. But from a functionality perspective, for a robot, the humanoid component is probably just window dressing. It's not what you need.
I mean, would it be better with 8 arms?
Probably.
Example? I mean, how many candies can you wrap with 8 arms as opposed to 2 when you're making candies?
Well, I was thinking unwrap it because I could.
But I mean, when you think about those things, it's exactly right. I mean, I think the humanoid thing just adds personality or the possibility of personality to your home robot. That's all it is.
Which means, is there a need to be a construct change?
It's possible. I think that anything's possible right now.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we're just having this discussion about what the world looks like 10 years from now. And I use this.
What does Marlo look like 10 years from now? Are you going to still have the same 3 hairs, or is it going to be down to 2?
Well, I'm hopeful that
3. 3 it is.
They'll have some type of toupee that could be stitched on.
No. You don't want to go there. No. There's no scenario where a quote unquote toupee should be in the future.
Can you imagine that the commercial for this would be, hey, water it and it grows.
Cha-cha-cha-chia.
Exactly where I was going with it too. That's funny. We were talking about the shape of robots and do they have to be humanoid looking or not. I'm thinking more along the lines, though, and I want you to think about this. So you're a business Just throwing that out there, right? And you're faced with, I'd like to upgrade my doors coming in and out of my place. So they're automatic opening, right? That's a cool thing to do. A lot of businesses do this. You start at a level and then you work your way up to that, right? And those are expensive. They're 20, 30. I mean, just a single door. We had that put on our place here, not that long ago. I think it was $12,000 to do this, right? Push the button so that the door opens, and not a lot of people use it, but some people have to use it, and if you have an armful of stuff or if you have a mobility challenge or whatever, those are all wonderful things that we have this automatic door, right? So we put $12,000 into it. I could, in the very near future, buy a Tesla robot for $20,000. And I only have one door, right? What happens if you have 2 or 3 or 4 doors, right? That would be $40,000 or $50,000. So, or do I buy 1 or 2 Tesla robots that will open the door for you, greet you, and say, Steve, what are you looking for today? And you'd be, well, I'm looking for some blah, blah, blah. Well, that's down aisle 5. Right?
So that's an expensive doorman.
But it's a doorman, right? And then you don't have to replace the doors. That's the kind of what I'm getting at. If you're looking at a choice between automatic doors that all they do is open and close, or you got a doorman that works 8 to 5 opening the door. Oh, and that's right. They don't need to rest. So after 5, when the place closes, they grab the mop bucket, they mop the floor, they dust the place. They're on security patrol. They're keeping your place secure all at the same time. And they greet your customers when they come in and leave. And if somebody has too much to handle, here, Steve, let me help you with that, as they're taking them out to the car. I mean, there's all these things that are possible. I'm using this as one example of, instead of paying for this, you can pay for this and have so much more.
So I'm thinking in terms of not as a doorman, but a concierge service for your customers.
Sure.
Depending on the scale of your business.
Yeah, it would just, I mean, maybe the robot would just go fetch it for you, because it knows exactly where it's at. But you might just say, that's okay.
Who says fetch it anymore?
That's okay, Jeeves. I would like to browse the store a little bit as well. Well, you go right ahead. But what you need there, Steve, is down aisle 5.
Yeah. If you need anything else, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'd be cool. I think this would be
very much so. When you're looking at an efficiency for a business, it's because look at the cost and the overhead of business. So the storefront, say you've got a 1,500 square foot floor space. What's more efficient? Because you also have a back room.
Yeah, you have a warehouse.
You got to have the warehouse space for stuff. So if you have this concierge robot that you come up to the front door and you have a very small footprint because you'll have one item. You're not stocking all this stuff. And then it's just a warehouse scenario in the back. It's like, what do you want? Well, I want to go look at something. And you go look at it and you go, yep, that's what I need. Okay. And it goes and grabs it out of the back, out of the warehouse space, almost like a conveyor system. Or you don't need that big footprint for the store. So
there's just so
that
many
front
advantages.
Space is the cost. That's the overhead. Warehouse space is warehouse space, but it's the front and that big footprint in the front of store that is the cost. So now you're bringing down costs. That's where it makes sense.
And you look at like where you and I live, right? We live in a state of 700,000 people.
Almost 8.
We're
closing in.
Are we?
Yeah, we are.
What do we have? 700 and some thousand job openings?
Yeah.
We have a job opening that's equal to our population in this state. We have a worker shortage problem like we've never faced before. I mean, even with what you and I do right now, and with all the automation that's going on right now, we still can't find enough people to do the jobs that we need to have done. I mean, I think about like our business, we're, right here, and the things that if I had a robot that I could just task to do things, there's so many things that I'd like to have done that just never get done because we don't have the manpower to do that.
Think about flexibility, because it's a simple programming. You hire an employee and you need this done. Well, then you need that done. Well, that employee is not qualified to do that, but and we get into this discussion of what are people going to do at some point, but the flexibility from having that robot that does this task, this task, this task. Oh, I needed to do that. Well, you just program it to do that, and it'll do that task too.
Right.
Oh, hey, I need inventory done this week. Okay.
I mean, there's no doubt, and then this is a whole show in itself, but I think I always tell people, just don't be afraid of this. If you embrace it and actually learn as you go along with AI and robots and stuff, you will always be employable.
If you own it.
Yes. If you
it's kind of like the computers in that movie.
If you fight it, and I'll just go back to horse and buggy days versus automobile, and that change took place over 20 to 30 years, right? And this is a lot faster. But the people that fought
this is 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah. The people that fought that, you just don't see people out there plowing their fields with horses anymore. If they would have changed with the times, those farmers probably would have stayed in the business, but because they didn't, they are not here anymore. So I'm just using that as one very, very bad example, but it is an example.
It works.
So, and we're just in the same time frame right now, the horse and buggy versus automobile. We're moving to an AI robotic type of world where it drives the barriers of cost down so much with starting new businesses and things, that new businesses, small businesses are going to emerge like you've never dreamed before. I mean, I've got all these ideas I'm working on right now.
Come up with a business plan.
Yeah.
ChatGPT. Hey,
that's
build me
correct.
this business plan.
That's exactly right.
The movie's Hidden Figures, by the way. It's like she got in front of it. It's like, embrace it.
Yeah.
They're going to need it.
Yep. So, all right, everybody. It's been a great, great show. Appreciate the time. Thanks, Steve.
And that's a wrap on another fantastic episode of the Tech Ranch. Remember, if you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology.